Well, it wouldn't, because this is only 1 month. So if it was added in April, you're not gonna see it.
All right, well, so you just add that 100,000,
But you're able to tell from the balance, is what you're saying?
yes.
Do you remember what it cost?
They paid 18,000 for 2 months' worth of rental, which went towards the purchase, and I believe it was, ended up being, it was 18,000 from his budget. They traded in the grader, they got 18,000 from that.
They got 18
Yep,
more for the old grader?
Yep.
That piece of garbage?
yep.
That's incredible.
How much you got?
18,000.
The rent, just for 2 months rental.
What's that?
For the 2 month rental,
Yeah,
and the purchase was?
220, I believe.
Let me see if I got this right. So you said for 2 months of rental, it was about $18,000 that had already gone, which was going towards the purchase.
Right.
Then
Because if it went-
18,000 out of the budget, out of the operating budget?
That was with his rental.
Well, the rental came out of the budget. Okay, okay.
But the rental, as long as if it was purchased before the end of the 2 months, that 18,000 went right towards the purchase.
Right. Okay. And then we got an additional 18,000 trade-in on the old,
On the old one.
oh, what a sucker. And then we paid 220,000 after that.
No,
Including the 18?
it was.
So deduct the 18 from that?
Deducted 36 from that.
Yeah.
Because you're getting the 18 back, plus the 18 for the
Gotcha.
trade-in,
Yeah,
was 36 off the 220.
thank you. What do you got?
I haven't done it yet, I just
Oh,
looked at it.
sorry.
Sorry. The moving around process, I was,
Yeah. And when was that time? Just the first week of July? No,
Back in June,
back in June.
because we had to do the purchase.
No, I'm confused.
Purchase was, had to be done before,
Before the end of June.
no, before we meet next week. So it was done July 2nd.
Oh, okay, so it was in July.
Yeah.
Okay, so all this.
Yeah.
All right. I get 194,000.
what's, oh,
No, that's okay, I'm sorry, no, I didn't mean to bug you to do to double check my math. Is that what you got? You didn't
Oh, I didn't.
do the math either.
You got what?
194?
For what?
for the total.
220,000 minus 36,000.
It
No,
should be
it's
less than
184.
that.
184, my bad, thank you. That's why I asked. That's why I asked.
It's like 184 out of
Yeah, which is why I'm questioning the numbers, because it's current, it shows on here that capital reserve is 172,000 there. So, A, there's not even potentially enough, and B, you did drain it completely.
No,
Okay.
What he's saying is, I think,
you didn't, there's 100,000 that's not shown in there. So if you look at your end value, it should be 272.
Oh, from the warrant article. Thank you, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Thank you. Next question, Sandy.
Yes.
what was my next question?
I don't
We
remember.
don't know,
sorry.
yeah, you had it.
I didn't have a next question at this point. Oh, I know what it was. This is kind of jumping ahead too, but I was questioning, since we do have so much paper, I know you had wanted hard copies. Would you prefer
Electronic? Absolutely.
filled out?
1000%.
Oh, sure, email and stuff.
Yeah.
electronic world we live in.
Yes.
Well, I think there was an issue with this, because I asked Sarah about that, and she said in order to do that, it would take a heck of a lot more time than to actually print them out, because she has to go into each department rather, she can't send it as a whole spreadsheet at
Sure,
once. So, you know, I
And
don't know
that's
if there's
fine if
any
you
way
can't,
to circumvent that whole process.
If she can't, that's fine.
But we can certainly
Yeah,
get
yeah.
like some of this stuff electronically.
Yeah, or the other option is get one copy, bring it to me, and I'll
Scan
scan it in and PDF it, and everybody can get it.
Oh, you want to do that?
It's not that big a deal.
Scanning is easy, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, what do you want?
Whatever's easy for you, whatever is the easiest for you guys.
You would be doing most of the work there, though.
No, Sarah still would. Scanning it in's easy, and once it's created in a PDF, it's just a matter of sending it off in an email. But, Catherine, how do you feel about, do you like getting all these stacks of paper, or would you rather get an email, or is that impossible for you to deal with?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what the question is.
Sandy said that she would be willing to ask Sarah if any of this could be sent electronically rather
Well,
than
that's a
being
very
printed.
good idea as far as I'm concerned.
All right,
Saves a lot of trouble for everybody, doesn't
okay.
it?
Thank you, good.
I mean,
Yes.
is there a strong disagreement about it? Doesn't it save you a lot of trouble?
Well, it's not me, it's Sarah who has to do all the work in getting all of the copies printed out and sorted.
But you mean we're overburdening Sarah, is that what you're trying to say?
No, I think I'm trying to eliminate all the paper.
She's trying to save the tree.
Well, I mean, that would help, I mean, if you don't mind. I don't mind, I'm agreeable to whatever you want to say. Could you just give me a little synopsis of what I've missed? I'm terribly sorry, I did not mean to fall asleep.
Mostly just me ranting, not much. We were just going over some of the things that we had discussed last time that are errors in the transaction details,
Oh, okay.
that and what's
Right,
been
so it's
improved and
also
what's still an issue.
self-explanatory.
Yeah, yeah. And then we just got done talking about the new grader.
Yeah.
The new grader that the
Oh,
selectmen purchased.
how is it? Is it,
No idea. Is it raining?
Bummer.
Catherine asked how many grades, do you know?
I mean, is it, update me, is it a used grader?
Yes, it's a used grade.
And is it in good shape, relatively speaking?
Yes.
I mean, we do spend an awful lot of time in our highway department repairing things. Is this one that's going to be avoid repairing for a while?
I don't dare answer that.
Look into your crystal ball.
Yeah, they've already spent $36,000.
Well, having just bought a very old Toyota Tundra, and the front window just broke this morning, I'm aware of the vulnerability of most stuff.
One thing you didn't resolve when you offered to sit with Sarah, is how do you feel about that?
I myself just prefer, paper, it'd be easier on me.
No, she went back a question.
Yeah, that's okay, but I got that, Ed.
Yeah.
All right, so
Do you want me to just give you a list of the things that need to be done, or would it, how do people feel about me sitting down with Sarah and saying, here's all the little details that need, just all these little things like, like, there's a dental insurance thing and the health insurance line, and can you move that where it needs to go, that kind of thing.
I have an answer for that one.
Right.
Okay.
I did, because I asked her about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And what she said is, it's applicable to those employees that have family dental, and there was no place to put it. So what she's doing is she puts it into an account or a line item, and then she has to debit it out of that for the other members. of the family.
But,
So if they're
Because they
dedicated
pay,
line to
because
that,
they pay a portion of it.
but
You know, like the
because
whole thing is not
the
paid.
way it was done for the budget, and this new budget season coming, she is gonna separate that out.
They are separated out. One of the, it's got employee health insurance, employee dental insurance. One of the dental is up here in health.
Yeah, that's for the other family members, because it's not 100% paid.
There's only one of us that was taking it. What is that?
Okay, let's go back.
Sorry.
No, no, okay, financial administration, is that what it was?
What's it in there? Selectmen. Selectmen insurance. So it's got insurance, dental, town, January, February, 2 in March, 1 in May. And the next category is health insurance, and it's got all the payments to health insurance, but it shows 2 in April, and 1 is listed as dental. And it's the same amount as what was listed every
I
other
think that
month
was
under.
in the wrong department. If I remember correctly. I think I noticed that too.
It won't be an issue going forward, because the only person who's taking all that doesn't work for the town anymore, but it's just that kind of thing, just, you know, the one innovative for the town hall that's under electric instead of
Right.
heating fuel, just, because when each one of those categories has a subtotal, and we sit down with them at the end of the year to say how much you need for heating fuel, well, we shouldn't have heating fuel and electric, we should be able to see what's, you know, what's where, at that little attention to detail is kind of important.
Okay. So the question still is, what are we doing with sitting down with Sarah?
If you want to go in and explain to her and go for it.
But I'm happy to, as long as the selectmen are okay with it, and she's open to it, I'm sure she will be, I think. I probably shouldn't speak for her anymore. Then I can quit whining at all of you about this.
Okay. So head of selectmen is giving permission? Okay.
Cool, thank you. What else have we seen in the budget as we look through them?
Some of the things that get overlooked from a couple of departments is they have revolving accounts and they're not spending money out of the revolving accounts and it's getting put towards their regular budget, and it should be.
Now, I know when we created in the past, like for instance, the ambulance budget, and there's so much that's supposed to come from the general account and so much from revolving. We specified which line items should come from there. Has that changed?
No, line items ain't changed, but a lot of it's not, they're not following through.
I'm not understanding what it is.
Who isn't following through?
Well, you got the ambulance, last year, if you look at the amount of money that they were supposed to spend out of their revolving account versus their regular account, they didn't spend it all. I think last year they were supposed to spend like $24,000 out of their revolving account, and I think they spent maybe $14,000. The rest came out of the ambulance account. Recycling center's the same way, and it's going on, and you can look at their account today.
So they've spent 11,000. Well, those are deposits. So if you go back and just add up the debits, it might be off.
Yeah.
So what you're saying it is it's going in, the request is going into the wrong place.
Well, who designates that? Doesn't the
The department heads are supposed to,
That's right.
the department heads are saying, oh, we got a kitty, let's build it up.
So you noticed there's some maintenance and sanitation departments?
Yes, just for the sanitation, right now.
Isn't the revolving account for, for sanitation, solid waste, whatever we wanna call it, doesn't that specifically have to be used for recycling purposes?
Yes,
Right, isn't that what the conditions were on that revolving account?
yes.
How they are taken.
Yeah.
Right now, you can look under the repairs and supplies, waste oil heater repair, $608. That could, should have came out of the revolving account. Because that's heating the recycling center building.
Not to be snarky, but shouldn't the selectmen be taking care of that when that request for payment comes in? Isn't that where the checks and balances on that would be? Just asking.
Yes, it is. And the previous selectmen weren't doing it. And then you go down, Power Broom, ahead of Bristol, and then almost $1,200. Gloves, tape, and trash, almost 350 something. This is all stuff that could come out of the revolving account.
Can that be remedied? Even though it's already done here?
Yes, I'm working on that.
Okay, I was just wondering if you were permitted to do that.
Yes. And just in case somebody decides to question on here, it's not supposed to be in there. There's $5,300 for the scales.
I was gonna ask about that, is that so that they can weigh the construction debris,
Yes,
demolition debris?
yes,
That makes sense. That's a great idea.
if they know how to do it. No.
I actually put a little smiley face on the transaction detail report next to that. I like it.
Yes, but it's not, that 5,300 shouldn't have come out of the budget.
Oh, because it should have come from that warrant article?
Yes. So she's supposed to correct that.
I also noticed in the revolving account report that there's a, or is it a credit? No, it's payment, a payment on 4/16 to the city of Lebanon for bulk waste. I don't see how that could be part of recycling, but that would, you know what I mean, that you could justify that using the revolving account on that. Yeah. I would think it's dumping fees, but I'm making an assumption. Have at it, Ed. This is why everybody thought I was such a pain in the rear end, because when I was a selectman, I actually read everything before I signed it, and things like this, I went and asked questions. You can do that, but we can't, we can't do that from this table. We can't do this from this room unless you would like us to formulate a letter and send it to the select board and ask them to do better.
Believe me, things don't get by me.
I didn't think they would. In sanitation, you know, there's a couple of, there's several budgets that have basically a gross basis
Right.
that we've always been inconsistent about it. We've never,
Exactly.
you know, like I said, the ambulance, we actually specify these line items are coming out of your revolving account, these are coming out of the general fund. And we don't do that with sanitation,
Ambulance.
well, no, ambulance we do, but we don't do it with sanitation, we don't do it with the library, the cemeteries, the town clerk, or the tax collector. They all have really a gross, yeah, they all have revenue. That's not,
That's how the RSA rates that it should be used to offset budget.
yeah,
Any donations, gifts, revenue sources.
yeah. Is that something we wanna try to resolve this year, or is this something we wanna plan to get better at going forward in a more generic?
Why not?
Gross basis budgets, consistency?
Well, you got till the end of the year to get it ready for next year, because it's gonna take so long to straighten it out.
What do you think about that, Catherine?
I'm sorry, I have such a trouble hearing and nobody is willing to speak up.
You can't even hear me in my big mouth? I'm trying, I really am. What I said was that we were just saying how we don't treat every department that has a gross basis budget the same. And I was asking.
I've been on this budget committee for God knows how many years. I find the system absolutely ridiculous the way it's run. I don't know why we spend our time messing around with little individual things. When I get this statement here, I want to see who is overspent from the proportion of the year and why, and whether there's anything reasonable. What our major deficiencies in town are. We don't pay a lot of people enough money to get decent service, which is a really major issue in Grafton. We're also worried about taxes going up that we wanted to nickel and dime. I really would like to see something much more top down, saying why, if the money that has been allocated to each department is insufficient, go through the principles of exactly why that is.
Sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I meant to go back before I fell asleep and read about the budget committee statutes, because everything is sort of so cut and dry. But I would feel much happier if we got a sense of where the expenses are coming from and where we have to meet them and where we can actually make some kind of compromise. And I feel that when we start dealing with minutiae, we lose sight of the forest for the trees. And I just wanted to say that, and I will make a gallant effort to have some kind of hearing aid for the next series of meetings in the fall. But it is an expensive proposition and I don't have that much cash available.
So are you saying that what we've been talking about is irrelevant?
I'm not sure because I couldn't hear all of it, but it sometimes seems to me like we're coming from the bottom up rather than from the top down. And I don't say that was true of all the comments that were made today, but and I miss Tom, so I really haven't got a leg to stand on at this point.
Do you feel that we're working outside of the scope of the budget committee rules?
I just feel
regulations?
that the scope of the budget committee has never been defined reasonably in terms of how effective we are, because we don't have to argue about the electric bill. I mean, that's beyond our control. But we do have sometimes personnel issues which are related to wages and who we can attract. We do have issues, major issues on the road department with equipment, and where we need to go to actually invest in something. We've now got a capital improvement plan, I believe, in operation. What's happening with that?
It just started.
Well, I mean, has it, how many people are on it, and is it talking about the next 10 years, 5 years?
They just barely met, so they haven't gotten into a lot of it yet.
Well, I mean, that's the whole idea of a capital
Right.
improvement plan, is how we come up with the money, because we do have money that the trustees take care of, and sometimes it seems that we just sit there with the money saying, we've got some money, but I'm going to spend it. I mean, you know, we are living in an inflationary environment, which we hope is going to come under control somewhat in the near term, but we cannot count on it. And we needn't lose sight of the forest with the trees by saying, you know, oh, that's too expensive, we can't come back, we've got to cut back. Sometimes we're going to have to say, we've got to face the music. So that's the end of my lecture. Sorry.
Thank you. Any thoughts from you, Phil?
There are some priorities, I guess, in town that need to be met. Do we meet with department heads and stuff here? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That'll be good, because we'll be able to kind of hear from them what their priorities are. I'm sure Ed's already heard most of them, you can probably sum it up real quick.
There is an item on the agenda about the budget process, so it would be interesting to hear your comments regarding
Okay.
that. And what you feel would be important to.
Yeah, I mean, I want this to be a sort of general discussion. It's not just me saying this is what we should do, but how can we feel more effective? And because essentially we're an oversight committee.
I think so. Where are we now?
I don't know.
Where's the update?
Well, actually, let's just to go through the budget, just the first two
Okay.
bold pages, each department, to see where we're at. And by the way, I noted on here, not every number that she's got listed for what a budget is for that department, and there's only two that I'm certain of,
Which one?
they're not the same as what was submitted to the DRA. If you look at the town report,
Yeah.
the numbers in the 737, there's a couple here that, and again, I didn't have time to go through it with a fine tooth comb, just at a glance. I think elections and town clerk didn't jive, financial administration, FICA, and legal expenses. Oh, yeah, that was it, which of course the bottom line then isn't the same. But that's more of maybe my minutia focused, but I just found that interesting as we were talking about different things that didn't seem right in the transaction detail, that also. But as far as that goes, did you look at each department? Were there ones you wanted to discuss?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I think I had looked at that last year, trying to figure out how they arrived at that report that shows up in the budget. And it seems like it's convoluted because there were items that were included, but the bottom line really worked out okay.
Okay,
That was my
yeah.
summation.
That's another thing I would put on my list of things that maybe someday we should figure out as the budget committee, but not pushing for too much at all.